Hi, my name is Eunice Magwambo. I am a journalist and a communication profession. I also do data journalism, and my niche is in data visualization. I've been working as a data journalist nearly for about 4 years now. I started my journey in 2018 when I first joined at Code for Africa. Here I was able to interact with other data journalists who put me up to speed with the fast-paced environment of data visualization. I got to learn from other journalists as well, both in Kenya and other neighboring countries, on how best to write data stories and visualize them. I also worked under PesaCheck, a program in Code for Africa, where I was the visualizer for designing some of the budget stories that we used to do, budget verification. So this is where I had the stepping stone in data design. Partly, much of my design was from school, but most of it was self-taught at the job. A data story is a story that tries to bring meaning out of a data that has been analyzed. So how to make the data work for you, or how to make the data have reasonable solutions. Like if you find maybe the number of pregnancy rates in a county is rising, then as a data journalist, what you can do is realize how are these numbers rising and what's the correlation around it. So in data journalism, we have something called correlation and cohesion. So this marries into understanding why data relates to a certain particular scene or what's happening currently in reality to the environment. So data gives us insight in what we're already going through in the environment or what's really happening on ground. So data gives insight, it's like an upper hand to a story. So a data story ideally should have data that is analyzed, that is reasonable, data that is relatable to a compelling character, and also data that is bringing in a solution-oriented kind of journalism writing. Okay, data visualization is broad because we have two things to consider. We have the tech part of it, and also we have the design aspect of it. So when you look at the design aspect, this is the graphic design, branding, colors, shapes, and then the tech aspect is basically the tools that we work with, especially in analytics. So much about this is tools that needs you to maybe have programming languages like R and other languages that you need to understand when you're encoding design into websites, and also using some of the tools. So there are tools that really don't require you to be a techie or a designer, and some of this is like the Flourish and Data Raper that mostly are common known tools, open source tools for data journalists. But we have other very advanced tools that may need you to have some of these skills. But ideally, what we're trying to do even right now as a media trainer and as a data visualizer is that we're trying to let journalists know that there are tools that they can actually interact with, learn how to use without having the technical skills in it. So intermarrying of design and data visualization is seamless. It comes in, you cannot avoid it, because once you design something, you want it to be visually appealing, and that is design. So they go hand in hand. One of the stories that I worked in that was really good and had a big breakout was on human trafficking. It was done by journalists in Kenya, and I was able to collaborate with them to do visuals for the story. So the story was so huge and the visual was very attractive that it got a first page landing on the cover page of the paper. So what the visual actually did is that it had a story within a story. So the visual already could tell an audience, this is the story, it's in its entirety. Like we had the data in there, we had the graphics in there, the whole story was summarized into a visual. So being that it was a long feature story, there will be the aspect of audience missing out on the full read and just looking at the visuals. So we made sure that the visual was very interactive. It had all the explainers, it had all the numbers. And this was a story that really got me to know now my skills in visualization. It was a stepping stage. And also I got to learn how to marry data journalism and data visualization. So the Viz actually helps you to bring meaning visually to the audience. So you find that you get the audiences who will not give time to the paper read, and those audiences who will just read through very quickly or take a deep dive. So the visual really played a big role in audiences who were really keen on understanding how these visuals were bringing the data aspect into place, bringing meaning to the whole story. So it was really visually appealing. Data journalism in the Kenyan context is fairly new. Currently, I work with Internews to assist spearhead some of the sensitization workshops they have on data journalism. And when we do these trainings, we understand even journalists who are working in media houses, they have not grasped the concept of data journalism in its entirety. So the trainings really help us understand where we are as a country, because most of the trainings we do are not only in Nairobi, we also do them in other counties like Mombasa, Kisumu, and when we travel there, we get to understand how far data journalism has been understood and is being reached. So in the Kenyan context, I feel like we are getting there. I cannot say we are really behind. We've done much to do with stories on data, and that is giving us a space in the media and a space out there to be seen and heard that our knowledge on data journalism is taking shape here in Kenya.